start with Nationwide, the UK's largest branch network for banking brands. Find out more at nationwide.co.uk/branch banking.
Times Radio Breakfast, it's 7:20 now. Hackers say they have stolen the pictures, the names and addresses of around 8,000 children from the Kiddo nursery chain. The hacking gang, call themselves Radiant, say they're holding the data for ransom. Let's speak to Graham Stewart, who's an expert at the cyber security firm Checkpoint. Morning to you, Graham.
Good morning.
So your team actually spotted this hack, didn't they, and alerted the authorities, is that right? Just explain what you discovered had happened.
So we have a number of what we call threat intelligence and threat research teams. They sit, and they're part of what they do is they scan the dark web. They are looking in places that, frankly, you or I would never normally go. And what they're looking for is indications of attacks, indications of nefarious behaviour online. And we picked this up a couple of days ago. And so, like many organisations in this space, we would let appropriate people know in appropriate places. So, and then, of course, what happens is that then the story blows up. It then hits the media, and frankly, this is one of the most depressing cyber attacks I've come across. I've been doing this for 25 years, and honestly, this is indefensible. It's awful.
And they say that they're just doing it purely for the money. They've got no morals. They don't. I mean, I'm not suggesting cyber hackers normally do, but there's no depths that they won't go to get money.
No, and this for me is the bit I find particularly astonishing, is to go after children, to use children's details as leverage to extort an organisation that looks after young children, looks after kids. It absolutely blows my mind. So there was an attack on one of the multi-academy trusts, the Harris Federation, in 2021, and they tried to use ransomware where they locked down the systems. And they tried to extort, the number banded around was $12 million from the Harris Federation, who wrote back and said, we're a schools trust, we don't have $12 million. I think you misunderstand. So apparently the ambitions of this Radiant group are slightly smaller, but still fundamentally it's an attack on children, and it's using their details as it's a new low. Honestly, yesterday was a very depressing day.
And for those children and the families of those children, what are the implications? Because some of it has been released, hasn't it? Some of their information has been released.
Yeah, so what we spotted was they released on the dark web a collection of images purporting to be to the children, which turned out to be correct. So what happens in an attack like this is they will go in, they will break into the systems, and they will scrape all the data from the system they can get hold of. So in this case, we're talking about 8,000 sets of details. So pictures of children, parents, contact information, apparently from what we can work out, some really quite sensitive children, about some of them with special education needs and things like that. The reason they're doing that, so there's two bits to it. The first bit is that they're going to scrape this information, and that turns into secondary attacks. So I guarantee every single one of your listeners will have had a text message from someone pretending to be saying, oh, your Amazon subscription's expired, your debit card on your direct debit is expired on your Disney, or you need £10 to get your parcel delivery. That's a secondary attack, and that gets generated from the selling and buying of this mass information on the dark web. So that's the first thing that happened. But then the second thing that happens is that in this instance, they're using the sensitivity of this information to extort the organisation and say, if you want this information back, if you want us to leave you alone, you need to give us a pile of cash. So the MO is like a playbook. So the cyber attack space has got, like any industry, has got fads and trends, and this is the current fad and trend, and it will change, and there will be another sort of a type of attack at some point.
I'm interested you talk about the trends, because in the media it would feel at the moment like there are a lot more cyber attacks, whether we're talking about M&S, the Co-op, Jaguar Land Rover. Are there more cyber attacks, or is there just a craze of targeting certain people at the moment that are getting prominence within the media?
So the answer to both those questions is yes. Let me qualify that for you. And I'll give you an example of 3-4 months ago, there was an attack on the Legal Aid Board. And most people won't remember. It was in May. They stole 200,000 people's details of quite vulnerable people. And in the media on that day, the number one news item was Gary Lineker leaving Match of the Day. So what's happened is that the attacks have increased in terms of severity, but also, and forgive the word, quality. These are really quite clever attacks in a number of cases. But what it's doing is it's impacting people's day-to-day lives on a widespread fashion. So if you remember the attack on the retailers, that led to empty shelves, and suddenly, you've attacked M&S and people can't get their kind of onion hummus for the weekend, and suddenly people are getting really upset about it. What's happening is that they're going after bigger and bigger names and being more successful. So the airline hack at the weekend, example, mass inconvenience across Europe. Suddenly that's in the media, and that's of interest because of the levels of inconvenience. So the direct answer to your question is, one, there is more of these attacks, and two, because of the nature of the attacks and the inconvenience being caused, it's more in the media, and people are far more aware of it.
Really interesting to speak to you this morning, Graham. Thank you so much for coming on.
No problems. Thank you.
Take care. That's Graham Stewart. He's an expert at the cybersecurity firm Checkpoint, and they actually discovered that this hack had taken place on the Kiddo nursery chain and a Lido nursery chain and a Lido nursery chain and a Lido nursery chain and a Lido